Hello all, let's talk about Ixalan, and this will be my sort of a pre-release primer for the set for this weekend. And just let's start with the full spoiler first, scan and need for the key cars that will define this weekend, and then we'll open the sample sealed pool to see whether what I say actually holds truth in theory when we have a sample sealed pool. So first of all, unless I open some ridiculous bombs like this Carnage Tyrant, for example, I think I would prefer to be blue white or than blue red. And I think Merfolk's outside of bombs probably the strongest out of 4 trebles for me, even though there's on average probably best support for pirates. Dinos could be insane, but then I think it will be about getting underneath dinos in terms of the mana curve and tempo. And I think Blue White actually has the best tempo. You don't have to necessarily be in Merfolk or Pirates or whatever, but I think that's the color combination which will have just the most answers and the best tempo to fight like all those 6 and 7 drops that will be just falling on you like a rainfall. Right. And of course you get some good dinos in white as well yourself. And what I'm looking for outside of Bunker's rares, basically. Well, Spellbundle will be pretty cool in this set just because you do counter whatever, then you get that much of mana boost, so you can actually extend your boards next turn really by a lot and get a huge tempo advantage this way. Even though counter spells are not really great and limited, but this one will help you to just cast a lot of creatures, and this set has no shortage of impactful mid-range creatures, that's for sure. Okay, let's not really look all that much at rears, really. Now we're thinking of blue-white. Of course, there are a lot of rares that will impact your deck building this weekend. So when I talk blue-white, I actually, in terms of commons and uncommons, talk about stuff like Bright Reprisal, for example, Air Elemental, this also Aerozor. All these mid-range flyers coupled with fantastic cards like Tempest Caller. You know, those are uncommons, but I would like to actually have that kind of package this weekend in my sealed pools. And then what else we have? Well, some sort of aggressive tempo cards, but you're not necessarily guaranteed to get there, really. I would say Cancel might actually be a little bit better, especially in sealed in the set, just because of this myriad of 6 and 7 drops. Then one of the wind is insane, and then all the bounce cards are actually insane just because of the dinos, I should say. You have Religion's Judgment, which is uncommon even though it's common even though it's a sorcery speed. Then what else? Round and Ground might not actually be the worst, might be a bit better than it seems, I think. Then you have arrest kind of cards like these Purist Interdiction, and then Blink or Flicker cards are actually a bit better just because you get those creatures that tap upon opponent's creatures or basically freeze them for a turn. You get extra delia this way. Flyers are especially amazing, facing all those big dinos and just racing this way. I think these creatures like Wave Trap Weaver and Stormcouter are really important together with this Territorial Hammer Skull. So all are commons actually, and probably combined are just amazing recipe for this weekend, and just for Sealed in general. I would say for draft as well, even though there are some differences, then we don't get much support for that color combination in multicolor cards. So blue-black is actually could be decent if you happen to open such bombs like Hostage Taker, for example. And what can I say? Vamps, I don't actually rate black-white that strongly in limited. And the red green is kind of obvious if you happen to open these dinos, these Y5, 5/5s and so on. That's kind of obvious. I think I would only play like blue-black if I have like just a good curve out of black and all those tricks and cool effects out of blue cards. And then, of course, if you open some vehicles, that impacts your decision as well. I actually like Schooner in this limited, even though it doesn't have the evasion, it doesn't have flying or anything, but it's so easy to crew, and for free is you know, good contender against all those dinos pretty much. So what else is another card? So yeah, red has notable removes and burn spells that help you to you know, steal the game with some reach and some good tricks. Green is good, but coupled with something else, well, because unless you open something crazy, and sometimes if you actually happen to open decent amount of ramp with stuff like New Horizons and all those mana drakes, then you can kind of like get away with just a mediocre deck and playing all those high drops, as long as you can have some early games to survive opponents and slots. Yeah, what else? As I said in the last review, so chip removal that cares about one-toughness creatures will be important for multiple reasons. There are just going to be quite a few targets for that stuff. And cheap pumps will actually play a huge role, I think, just to get through big boards like Crest to Ramparts. I think it's a fantastic card, even though it's free, but it does a whole lot. And one way dinos can lose games, even if you have like solid deck, if you just don't have enough trample or just ways to push for damage through champ blockers and such. I'm not a big believer in a deck centered around explore mechanic. I think it's just alright, but not kind of hard to open a big sealed pool. Of course, in draft it would be much better. Yeah, you can draft some really tempo-ish blue-red pirates and do rather well. I think if you open double spine bag or it and plus something relevant of that genre plus a bit of ramp, you can have good results, I think, because even though it's a 7 drop, but it spawns 3 dinos and it's a great mana sink, it basically spawns 4/4s while it's in play, so that could be a deal breaker in many games. I'm not really excited to see all that much removal. I think there is gonna be a bit of shortage of good removal, but there are a bunch of tricks as well, so it kind of balances out. Though I would like to see a bit more removal, but then again, all those dinos wouldn't be as impactful as they would eventually. It's kind of it. Basically red has a lot of reach and tricks and so forth, so that's the thing. But yeah, if you open like some bombs in green, just do it. It's like green is not bad by any means. It's just that I have to open like really good green to actually justify playing it, because there are a lot of good alternatives. But if you have a couple of rares in it, you can get away. So let's see. And one more point here before we open a sample Prerelease Sealed pull, is that I think Crushing Canopy is quite main deckable. So it either deals with a flyer, which will stumble your onslaught of big ground creatures, but also takes away all those like annoying white and blue enchantments that either give their creatures flying or just arrest one of your creatures, for example, and all of that at instant speed. That's very important, I think. Okay, let's now open the pre-release pool. It's just a sample. We won't get to like really sort it out that well. We can just highlight. Okay, this is rather crazy. It looks like this pool kind of builds itself to an extent. Like, seriously. As you can see, we can actually have a quite controlish deck, I should say. Let's see. See how controlish we should actually be with this deck. This is pretty much good in almost any archetype. Briefly 5/4 is probably bound to be good almost everywhere. Yeah, we actually have 2 clerics, that's really good. I think you played this even in a non-vamps deck just because it's solid on its own. It's at worst it's a 4/5 for 5, which is always good, I think. So you have this Nook the board kind of guy. You have this aggressive red card. So just a trample good beef. Is there actually incentive to go into red for these invocations? No, I don't think. Well, unless we have some ramp. Probably play this vehicle, I guess, almost no matter what. Oh yeah, we need explorers for that one, right? Do we actually have explorers for that? We'll see. So we're definitely in what I think. Okay, we have one good explorer creature. So is there any more support for that? Black's a bit more aggressive than I would like it to be. Okay, we probably play that. We need some ramps. Maybe not. Actually, don't think we'll be all that tribal with this deck. I think we should be playing Dreadnought. Okay, we're definitely playing this. Okay, we have more explore if we really want to. Oh, that's an interesting sign actually. But I don't know if we wanna be that. How's about the rest of our red? Or should we actually go green? Should we actually go green? Okay, we're probably playing this regardless of our second color. Not sure if we want to shore set into color deck. We're unlikely to play it. Okay, we're gonna play Horizons, I think. Even though flying is good, but I don't think that it's happening. I think we're playing not exactly sure. Okay, we're playing the 2-drop just because of mana curve considerations, I think. Okay, we actually have quite a bit of explore. Yeah, no, I think we need more creatures in this deck. I could see another way to build this deck around, but that's probably the safest one. That's a very good card, and we do have some dinos ability. Well, we can play this one too, though that might be a bit too extra. We have only one conquistador, so it's not gonna make the cut. Soldier is definitely gonna be played no matter what. Yeah, sadly we can't play the pillar. We have a pretty big mix of creatures in here. Is that something like that? Well, we do have some bombs and yeah. Okay, we have, okay, if we not highlight that land. How many cards is that? 25. Almost there, actually. Almost there. Is there anything we can actually cut? Well, this dino is not just absolute crazy, but we need it for this night. But maybe if we don't play both of those, then we're okay. Yeah, basically I have so much removal and a pretty good curve in this deck, so yeah, we can just win here with just average creatures and this Sun's Avatar. I think that's probably the best way to build this pool, but okay, well, we can try one more, because this one was, you know, not the most peculiar example. Right, this pool is a bit more diverse. It looks quite a bit more complicated. Emissary is actually probably gonna be pretty good. I have a good vehicle that we can almost play no matter what. I think just for these cards. So this dino is good value, but I don't think it's an insane incentive to be in green. I think we're probably in white just because of all this jazz and that, and then I think we should consider red because of stuff like that. We have nourishment though. I'm not sure if we can pull off like 3 colors in this deck. I'm not sure if that's a possibility. Yeah, this looks like a pretty interesting and pretty hard hole to build. This is a thing if we go more 2 colors. Yeah, we're definitely in white. Again, really good white in already second pull in a row. Black is aggressive, you can try to explore that. Actually, yeah, so yeah, Mardu seems like a good, well, the triple red on this burning avatar is kind of crazy. Is it actually worth it? But these are like 2 pretty good bombs though. So we're just like splashing black technically. But most of the fixing is in green, and that really annoys me a lot of the time. Okay, we're definitely in red. So now it's just about smoothing in the deck. Okay, we have a looter. That's really good for this type of control deck. But we don't really have much fixing, if any. Do we really need? Do you need some early drops, I think? To stem the bleeding, so we might have to play stuff like this, even though it's not spectacular for this deck. Yeah, so we have some early drops. Technically, how many cards I highlighted so far? 20. What does that mean? Bishop and star. Highlights mythics or something. So we had only highlighted 20 cards so far. Yeah, the crew's not gonna be actually that good in this deck. probably play one of those 1/7s just for defensive measure. Okay, this will actually pretty be good. It's trades with a 2-drop most of the time, and you get 1 mana back. Okay, is this actually gonna trigger? Well, we do have like some early creatures, so we can, you know, but it's kind of like a proactive card. Okay, I actually have 2 of those guys. That's pretty good. So the point about this cutthroat is that it's only good like in tempo aggressive deck. It's actually not that good in a deck that tries to defend most of the time. So that's clunky. So something like this. So it's like, is it 23 including those 2 bombs? And I think it's 20. Well, we can count and recap. So this is 6, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 17, 19, 22, 23. Yeah, looks like a good deck actually to me. I would love to have something like this at the Prerelease. It fits my style perfectly. Just some early game to survive, and then just you know, all this value and removal. Looks real good to me. Okay, one last one. Pretty good promo. Decent. Okay. Yeah, this pull kind of looks like it built itself. I don't think he played the Tried Unlimited. Oh yeah, we haven't have the banner to go really deep. So let's see, what if we go really deep? Plus some obvious card choices. I don't know if we play Sirens like in this deck. I'm trying to think, like, is it actually that good in Sealed? It's probably much better in Draft. Trying to think if it's worth for this deck. Well, we're probably playing this, even in the Merfolk's deck. Oh yeah, so decrease type because you can draw additions damage in addition to the other create types. Yeah, okay, because we have this weird like this adaptation, so we can actually convert some non-Merfolks into ones. The territory becomes a bit better if we go deep on this combination. I'll probably play this bounce. Not sure if we want negate on this deck. Yeah, we'll definitely play this. Yeah, Merfolks might not be actually the combination that we necessarily should be in. It is only 15. Well, we can of course like mix it up with some dinos, but is that the plan? Is that what we should do with this pull? Not like totally convinced. Everything else is just like, you know, mediocre. Nothing that absurd. Okay, maybe like add more bounce. Is it even worth to consider other combinations? Okay, these 2 knights are actually a good reason to think about white. And maybe even red. Yeah, I think white red might actually despite everything, might be a better combination. Just okay, we have some decent rares and mythics, but are they actually that good? Okay, because I think that's the last pull I'll consider. Okay, we have a bunch of like just big dinos, but the good part about this guy is it tramples. But I don't think green-white here is strong enough. Can we do something like Naya? Let's just explore. Can we actually do Naya? Can we do Naya? I don't think we need New Horizons in this pool for the ramp. I think we can do without it. I think we can do without it. Okay, that's really good. That's a fine pump spell, I think. I think you play these soldiers. They're okay, but probably not good enough incentive. Yeah, commission is not that strong in this deck, actually. I feel like. Okay, does it make sense to actually be Naya? We don't have that much of fixing. Okay, this is probably what Naya deck will look like. Yeah, I'm kind of like ignoring black and all these free pools, but it just didn't happen to, well, in one pool, like we went into Mardu control, but I could be wrong about black. It kind of feels like the worst color, despite like heavy synergies with all those pirates and vamps and so forth. And this is a pretty good like black card as an example, but I think it's better to be 9 this pool. Wait, let's see. Is the green worth it? Those two trample 6 drops are really good, but no, we're okay. If we include everything, we're at 26 cards. These are all quite good, but maybe not worth it. Because then we can do this. 21 like adds whatever, let's say dual shot, and then we have a solid red-white aggro, like very solid deck, where we can have options to use some vamps. Yeah, I don't think you go vamps and limited unless you just force them or have some bombs. Actually, let's have a look. I feel like there is a chance to make decent black white here. Yeah, it's okay. This is good. Oh, this is. I think this card is actually good unlimited. It's not a constructed one, but it seems alright. I don't think this set actually abuses all those discards. For reals. But it's okay. Okay, so this is vamps. All in vamps. Almost all in vamps, technically. I don't yeah, we can. Yeah, just let's see what happens if we go like really all in. Yeah, we're definitely playing this anyway. We'll play that anyway. We don't play the 6 drop, that's for sure. Yeah, this is probably good anyway. Those are amazing. Okay, we antique those. We're at 24. I think I added something that doesn't have to be there. Oh yeah, this is really good. This is really good. I don't think this lifelink enchantment is what this deck needs or wants. I don't think you really need it in this deck. Yeah, this is not very diverse in terms of creature types, so we might not need it that much. Yeah, here it's good, but they still get that card back, so could be playing this dino, but I'm not sure. I don't think that card is like that good. It's good, but everything else in this particular build is more important. Yeah, all the synergies, solid deck, bit of removal. Maybe not the best one out of this pool, but definitely a possibility. Okay, hope you enjoyed this. Until the next sale, bye.